almost close to 1,000 participants. So please let your friends know that if they're not able to join here, they can join on Zoom, YouTube live. Your calendar invites and your WhatsApp groups will have YouTube links. Please use that to see the YouTube live. I hope all the students are aware that the attendance is compulsory for these master classes, and I hope you convey the same to your friends as well. It's 4:07 now. We'll start at 4:10. We'll just wait for others to join in. Okay. So there are a few announcements that I'd like to make. First is regarding the learning plan completion certificate. So I know you were supposed to submit the LP certificate today, but due to platform glitch, platform maintenance, there has been some issues regarding accessing the platform. And we know that all of you are concerned. So please note that the LP completion certificate date is being extended to 20th July. 20th July. Till that time, we are extending the deadline for learning plan completion certificate. Okay. And we understand that you have concerns regarding the platform. Please be patient. Our team is working on it. And we've received all your queries and concerns, and keeping all of that in mind, we are extending the deadline. Please make sure that you convey this to your team members as well. If they are not here, if they have not been able to join this call due to some reason, of course, there will be communication in your WhatsApp groups as well. But please make sure that this information is communicated in your group as well. Okay. So the issues that you're facing regarding the common queries that we have received is CSR box not showing on your profile. Second is platform being very slow. You are getting error. There is, the progress is not loading even after you are completing all the modules. So all of these things, it will take 1 to 2 days to get sorted. Please be patient. Please cooperate with us. Okay. So you need to be patient with this. It will take almost 2 days for this to get sorted. Our team is working on it. Second, as already mentioned, LP learning plan completion certificate deadline has been extended. And the most important thing that I want to say, all of this information that I just shared, it is being circulated in your WhatsApp groups as well. But what is concerning is many of you are not very active on those WhatsApp groups, or you are just ignoring those messages, the communication that is coming to you. Please read those documents that are being shared. They are for your benefit only. So there has been a resource document which has all the recordings of the orientation, PPT of the orientation session, Masterclass 1, 2 of FEWD, Masterclass 1 of DA. Please read that document. Certain common queries have been addressed in the FAQ document. Please go through that. It has already been mentioned that you will be provided with the LMS link where you'll be submitting your learning plan completion certificate. So please read all those documents so that you don't have to keep coming back to us for these queries, which are already, which you already have answers to. So it's a humble request. Please, whatever is being communicated on WhatsApp groups, please be very mindful and please take a note of that. So with that, I'll start the session now. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our expert for this today's session. We have Anjali Chauhan with us. She is a results-driven data and AI educator with an experience of over 7 years in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data analytics. She specializes in designing and delivering learner-centric hands-on training programs that bridge the gap between theoretical concepts and industrial application. Anjali has developed and led impactful sessions across diverse audiences, focusing on data handling, visualization, and predictive modeling using tools like Excel, Power BI, and Python. She has collaborated with leading organizations such as IBM and Intel to create real world project based learning programs. Anjali holds an MTech in computer science and is a Microsoft certified educator committed to making data literacy accessible and engaging for all learners. With this, I welcome you, Anjali. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Tanuja, and good evening to all the students who have joined in the session today. So I would like to welcome all of you before we begin this session, and I am hoping this session is going to be definitely a fruitful one for you. And I could see a lot of you have been posting too many queries in the chat, and I feel these are related to last few sessions that you already have. So like Tanuja mentioned that they will be sharing all this information with you over your WhatsApp groups, over the messages that you will be getting through your groups, mails and other platforms. So kindly be proactive in visualizing those messages. And if you have any queries, maybe your queries are resolved by going through all those messages and information that has been posted. So I would request all of you to keep an active track of that and keep yourself updated with all the latest information that we are sharing with you. With that, we are going to begin our session for the day, right? And as Tanuja mentioned, that today's session is going to be the masterclass 2 of data analytics. So you already had one masterclass with Karthik, which was your first masterclass for data analytics. So before I proceed further with today's session, can I request few of you if, or I would appreciate if many of you could tell me what all did you cover up in first session? You can respond through chat, not an issue. And other than the session queries, I mean, other than today's session queries, if you have any other queries prior to the sessions that have already taken place, I would request all the students who have joined in today's session, kindly share all your queries which are not pertaining to this session at a later point of time and maybe through some other channel, because this way you will remain distracted throughout the session asking about all the things that you have in mind. And for today's session, obviously you can post your queries meanwhile the session, in the beginning of the session or towards the end of the session, wherever you feel you are not able to understand any concept or any demonstration that I'll be sharing with you, you can let me know. So let me just read few messages, then I'll share the screen and begin the session for the day. So there are people who have mentioned that you studied about visualization techniques, how data is classified, introduction to data analytics and data analysis, what is data, how do we collect data. Okay, great. So can anybody tell me, when we say data analysis, what is one word that comes to your mind? You can drop your messages in the chat. I'll be able to have a look. So I once again repeat the question. When we say data analytics, what is one word? What is that one word that comes to your mind frequently? Okay. Analyze information, visualize, profit gain from the data. Okay. Insights. Okay. Find the errors, trends in the data. So all of the words and phrases that you have shared, whether it is related to prediction of the data or analysis of the data or getting insights from the data, all are absolutely right. And they are definitely relating to decoding your data. Now, in today's session, we'll be moving a step further with whatever we have done so far in our previous session. Okay. So the topic for the day that we'll be covering it with data analysis and linear regression using MS Excel. And when we will have our next masterclass, I mean, after this, we will further be progressing with few more tools other than the ones that I'll be sharing with you today. Okay. So today's session will be all hands-on techniques wherein you will learn how you can analyze data in a better way. So let us have a quick look at the agenda of the session today, what we are going to cover up in the session. Okay. And then I'll take you forward. So first of all, the first thing that we are going to focus upon is how to import and profile your data. Now, when I'm saying importing the data, today I'll be showing you how you can make use of a live data set. Okay. So we'll be using one platform with the help of which we'll be downloading a data set, and I'll tell you what modifications or what insights do we need to get from that data, and how to get those insights from that data. This is our first thing that we are going to focus upon. Second point that we are going to focus upon is how to clean that data and prepare that data for analysis. Obviously, when you download any data from any of the platforms or sources, that data has a lot of information which you might not need for your analysis, right? So in that case, it becomes extremely mandatory that you clean that data and prepare that data for further analysis. So like I mentioned, as a sub pointer over here, we will be mastering essential data preparation techniques. Third thing that we are going to do over here is feature engineering. Now, what does it mean? Feature engineering means with certain formulas which are already existing in MS Excel, how you can create new variables if you want to utilize this data further, maybe for building a machine learning model or for some other analytical purpose. So how to do that? Then we'll be focusing upon descriptive statistics. So when I say descriptive statistics, it's all related to calculating maybe median, mode, or maybe you are looking for standard deviation calculation of their data, right? For different purposes that we'll go through. Then also sorting, filtering, and draw insights into the data. Now, if I want to have certain meaningful patterns from the data, because we all feel that visualizing data gives us a better clarity on what is the data all about, right? And the last thing that we'll be focusing upon in today's session is linear regression. So we'll understand what do we mean by linear regression. At the same time, we'll also see how you can plot linear regression in MS Excel. So I hope agenda of the session is clear to everybody that these are few things we are going to focus upon in today's session. Okay. Before I move forward with all of you, one question to all the students who have joined the session today. Have you ever worked with a real world data set in Excel before? So there are options given to you like yes, several times, once or twice, no, but I understand the basics. And the last option is no, this is my first time. So I would request students if you can quickly give me your inputs so that I can have a look what sort of audience do I have today and where do I need to take the session forward from. Okay, so I can see many 1 and 4 coming to me. In between, I have 2 and 3s as well. But yes, majority of the people I could see, they are posting 1 and 4 as the option. So I can deduce that I have a mixed lot of students over here. There are many people who have already worked with the data several times. And there are few people who have not worked with any live data ever. And there are a mixed lot in between wherein they have understood and they have done it once or twice, or they understand the basics. Great to know that. Okay. Next thing, first thing that we are going to focus upon is how to find the real world data sets. Now, sometimes the questions come to us is when you are going for a data analysis, either you prepare your own data, right? You go to Excel, you prepare the every sort of data that you need to, but it is too time consuming. So when you want to look for certain data sets that exist in real world and you want to work with real world data, where you can get these data sets from. So there are few sources that I have mentioned over here that you can have a look at. Like one of the sources that I could go through was Kaggle, which is a very commonly used source nowadays for extracting data sets from there, right? And I'm sure that many of you must also be using Kaggle for some kind of data set to be procured. Now, when I talk about Kaggle, the category of data that I would say is more of like competition and community data set, right? Similar way, there are other platforms through which you can extract your data, like data.gov.in. So, like the website name mentions, it has the data related to government statistics. So, if you want to work on some real-time data set pertaining to government statistics, you can make use of this platform and take your online data from there. Then we have World Bank Open Data, which are global indicators sort of data, wherein, as you know, that when you hold an account in the bank, there are many details that have been asked from you as a person who is trying to enroll in the bank and opening an account, right? Then the last one, and not the last one, another one I would say that I could go through was UCI Machine Learning Repository, where you will mostly find academic data sets. As I'll be dealing with a set of students today, like you, so I'll be trying to work with the data which is student centered. Okay. Now, out of all these options, I'll be using Kaggle for the day, and I'll tell you how to go to Kaggle and how you can download a data set from there. Now, when you are downloading a data set, if you get the choice to download it in CSV or Excel format, Excel access format, you can make a choice. Else, it is usually by default downloaded as a CSV format. Now, if you are a beginner, because I could see many responses from many people wherein they have rated themselves as 4. So I would prefer you start with a small to medium sized data set for analysis. So you understand how to work with all those data insights, right? And if you are somebody who is from intermediate to advanced level, who have already used the data, then you can take any kind of data, like maybe of 2000 rows, 3000 rows, and howsoever you feel comfortable and the kind of objective you wish to achieve with your data, right? So once I take you to hands-on, I'll quickly show you how to do that and how to do all the things that I mentioned over here in the presentation today. Now, when you import these data sets, firstly, you will be downloading data sets to your devices. If you must have joined through laptop, or if many of you, I feel, must have joined through laptop or any other devices. So please try to do hands-on along with me. If you feel you can practice along with me, it would be great if you can do, right? So let us quickly go to Kaggle and let me show you how to get the data from there. So I would request Tanuja, if Tanuja can share the link of Kaggle in the chat with the students. So students, with the link that Tanuja will be sharing with you in the chat, you can directly go to Kaggle. And once you go to Kaggle, you will see something like this. This is the homepage for Kaggle that you see over here. Now, if you are using it for the first time, it would be suggested that you sign in for yourself. Sign up if you don't have an account. Like right now, you can see my name is appearing on the screen because I already have an account over Kaggle. If you do not have it, you are using it for the first time, so it will give you the option for signing up. So right now, if you look at the right top corner, you see my screen. You see my profile section over there, right? It shows your work, your profile, and everything else. So please do it. Please do sign up for yourself. And once you do that, you will come over here. In case you don't want to sign up as of now, once the Kaggle opens for you, you will see this search bar at the top, center top, right? Now, I want some data related to, let us say, as I'm dealing with you today, so I'll go for some student performance data set. Now, let us just show the results and we will see what kind of student performance data do we have. Now, if you see the results, there have been 751 data sets over here present related to student performance. So it is going to show you, it not only gives you the data set, there are many other things that are available in Kaggle. Today, I'm going to focus upon data sets. So you can see once I filtered it out using only data sets, there are many data sets given to us, like student performance factors, student performance data set, student performance prediction. So let me pick up any one as of now. Let me pick this one. Now here, as soon as you click on any data set, it is going to give you the download option from here, right? So once I click on download, you can also read what's there in this data set. So if you see the description, it says this data set contains information of high school students in mathematics, including their grade and demographic information. And then it also shows you what are the columns in that data set. So you can see over here, it has gender of the students, it has test preparation codes, parental level of education, and all those details, right? So if you feel this data is good for you, for today, we are just doing as a purpose of understanding how to do data analysis. So you can pick up any data of your choice, right? Now, when you need to download this data, you will click on this download option at the right top corner. And here, when you go at the bottom, it gives you an option, download dataset as a zip file, right? So I'll just click on that. Now, once I click on that, you can see in my downloads, I do see this thing over here, right? Okay, so I can see for the Kaggle link has already been posted, right? And I'm hoping that all of you are able to see that. Just want to confirm, is my Kaggle screen visible to everybody or not? If not, I'll share it one more time. Tanuja, if you can please confirm, is my Kaggle screen visible?
Anjali, we can see your screen here.
Okay, thank you. Now, once you see this download option, and it will be downloaded as a zip file. Now, one thing to be taken care of over here, when we will be using this file in Excel, we need to make sure that you extract this file, not keeping it as a zip file, because your Excel will not be able to read the zip file, right? So we need to extract that. So let me show you how to do that, then we'll proceed further. Now, to Excel, what we are going to do over here is, let me just go to my download section from here, and then so you see this file, archive file that I have. Now I want to extract all the files, whatever are there. So I'll just right click and you can use this option of extract all, right? You can select the destination folder wherever you want your file to be. I will keep it in the downloads only. So I just select downloads in the folder and I'll click on extract. Now, once you click on extract and refresh your window, you can see in this zip file, there was something named as exams. Okay, so this file has already been extracted out of it. Now, coming to Excel. So I'm going to Excel over here. This is one of the data where we will be working upon today, one of the data set that I already have. For now, I'll tell you how to import that file that you had over here. So I'm just going to a new file just to show you how to do it from the beginning. Now, from here, when you want to import your file, one option is you go to File, you click on Open, and over here, you look for the file. If you see it over here, you can directly import it. If you don't see it over here, you can browse and see if you find it in downloads, wherever you had downloaded it, right? In case you don't see it over here as well, you can go for the search option. Okay, like I think the file name was exam. So I can just search exams.csv file and then I can click on open. Now you can see this is the file that was there, which I downloaded from Kaggle. Okay. Okay. Till here, any doubt to anybody? Anything that you didn't understand, or do I need to repeat anything? As of now, we have just covered up the one online platform from which I downloaded a live data set. And I just told you how to open it in Excel, MS Excel. That's it. Anybody having any kind of doubt? Students, please respond so that I come to know whether you are able to follow along or not. Okay, great. I can see. No. I can see one repeat as well. Okay, for sharing the dataset link, you can go to Kaggle simply and you can look for any dataset of your choice. Okay. So once again, I'll quickly repeat for you what needs to be done. So like I said, once you go to Kaggle, the link is already there in the chat for you. Okay. You can simply go for the search option, the kind of data that you wish. Like I showed you how to download the student performance data. And here you will find several data sets related to students' performance. So here you can see there is an entire lot of data sets available to you. Whatever you wish to download, like if I want to download this one, you have this. The moment you open this, if you will not sign in, you will not see it as directly as a download option. Okay. So it would be preferred if you sign in first. You can sign up over Kaggle, and if you already have an account, just simply sign in. Then once you open the data set, it will show you something like that, and you can just go for the download option from here. Okay. Once you click on download, it gives you the option of download dataset as zip. So you just need to download it to your system. Once this is done, you are done with the downloading. You need to extract your files from the zip folder like I did. So this was the folder that I downloaded. When I want to extract the file, I'll simply right click and go for extract all option. Okay. I am assuming that you people know how to extract the files from the zip files. Okay. So Sakshi has asked which account. Sakshi, you can sign in using any account, preferably a Google account. You can sign in using any account, not an issue. Okay. Now coming back to the data. So one way I told you is just simply opening the file which have been downloaded. Now there is a limitation. There are certain limitations when you import the data this way. You might not be having access to few features available when we talk in terms of data analysis. So the best approach I would suggest for importing your data into Excel is going to your data tab over here. So in this ribbon where you have all these options, file, home, insert, and rest of the options, you go to your data tab. Now, once you click on that data tab, you will see this first option which says get data, right? Now, once I click on get data, it is asking you from where do you want to get your data from? You want to have it from a file, you want to have it from a database, you want to have it from a cloud, or you want to have it from some other services. I'll go with this option of from file. And as you know, that the file that we have downloaded was a CSV file. By default, the files that are downloaded from Kaggle are usually CSV files. So I will be going for the second option from text/CSV. Now, when I click over here, you can see the file that I downloaded, which was exams, right? Now, and the file that I'll be working upon today was student scores. So I'm showing you this one. You can go ahead with any one of your choice. Let me just pick up this one. Now you can see a preview over here, right? That this is the file wherein we have all these columns. Although it was a CSV file, but once you import data using your data tab and get data option, it automatically converts the entire information into relevant columns. Like if you see the first column is ID, then first name, last name, email, and rest of the stuff. So it is going to arrange the entire sheet accordingly. Now, once you see the preview and if you are good to go, just click on load at the bottom. So you can see now this entire data is over here. Okay, students, any doubt till here? How to import the data using open option as well as data, and from data you use this get data option. Any doubt till here? Great. Regarding the queries related to username, you can have any kind of username for Kaggle, but make sure it is something relevant and looks authentic when you do your data, when you set up your username over there. Okay. And few questions for repeat. So I'll just repeat. Please have a look. So what I did is I went to this data option and which has been given in this top ribbon where you have file, home, and other options. So I just go to data, right? And from data, you have to go to this first option of get data. Then from file, you will be selecting the second option because our downloaded data is in CSV format. Okay. So I just uploaded this data over here, imported this data. So I'll click over here. I'll choose the file which I want. I'll click on import. It is going to show us the preview. If preview is good to go for you, you will be clicking on load. Now the data will be here. Now you can see there is a message over my screen which says some features might be lost if you save this workbook in CSV format. To preserve these features, save it in an Excel format. So what am I going to do? I'm going to save this file again in Excel format. I mean as .xlsx file. Okay. So I'll just click on save as. You can change the file name. Like if I write exams demo data set, and wherever you wish to save it, you can save it over there. So now you can see the extension of this file is .xls. So I am saving it as an Excel file format. Okay, CSV was also the same format. I mean Excel format only. But yes, with CSV, we are not able to work on few features. So that is why I am transferring it. I am transforming it to an Excel file. Okay. I hope till here it is clear to everybody now how to download the dataset from Kaggle and how to upload or import that dataset into MS Excel. Now, let us start working with the data. Let us try to have few insights from this data and we will see how we can work with this data. Now, as of now, if you see this data is totally disarranged, or you can say disorganized in terms of alphabetical arrangement of all the entries that I have. So if I'll give you an overview of this entire data, you can see this is a data of 2000 rows, right? I have over here 2000 rows that I need to figure out and have my insights from. So like I said, if you are a beginner, I would request you to choose some small sort of data. I mean, maybe with 100 rows or 200 rows so that you can learn easily. And if you are good at having certain sort of analytics using the data set, you can go for any number of rows and any kind of data that you wish. Okay. Now, first, we will understand how to sort this data. So I will show you the output, like once we do the sorting and everything, how is it going to look like? And then I'll show you how to do it on your own. Okay. So here, this is the same data set that I just showed you a moment ago. Now, here, if you see, the data is sorted as per the names of the students. So this is again a student data wherein I have the student basic information like first name, last name, email, and all that stuff. Then I also have if the student is having some sort of part-time job or not. So wherever the answer is no, the value is coming to be false. And wherever the answer is yes, the value is coming to be true. Now, number of days on which the students have been absent, like 7 days, 4 days, 2 days, it has been mentioned like this. If they are participating in any extracurricular activities, if this is their weekly self-study hours. So in a week, how many days, how many hours do they study on their own? This is also mentioned. Then what are the career aspirations of those students? And the main data set that I'll be working upon today is these scores in various subjects that you see over here. So starting from column L to column R, you have all the scores of the students out of 100. Okay, this is the description of this data. Now I'll go to the raw data and tell you how to sort this data first of all. Now this is the unsorted data over here, which is not being sorted. So the option that you are going to use for sorting your data, if you see in the home tab, you have this option at the right top corner over here, which is sort and filter, right? Now, the moment I select any data, let us say I select column B, C, and D, okay? And I want to sort this data. Now it is asking, how do you want to sort? You want to sort it in alphabetical order, like starting from lowest to highest. You want to sort it using going from highest to lowest. Then there is also an option called custom sort. Okay. So we will see what we are going to achieve by using all those things. So if I do it simply sorting in A to Z order, so you can see now the names have been arranged, their scores have been arranged, right? Now I'll just undo this. Have a look at the first column. Have a look at the scores column over here. So if you see scores are 73, 81, 93, just remember the first three values. Now let me sort it one more time and let me see if there are any changes being made or not. So you can see the values you will be selecting, they are going to sort in the same way. I'll just undo that for now and going to sort it. Now, can you see the difference that it has made? Still, the scores are same. I can't see any changes in the score, but yes, I can see the names being arranged. Now, if we do it this way, obviously your data is going to be confusing, right? There must be values that will not be accurate as per the value, I mean, as per the name of the student. Whereas, if I show you this data, the one that I sorted already, you can see the values are not the same over here. These are the actual scores of this student only whose name has been mentioned over here. Okay. Now, how to do it? How to sort it in the best possible way? One more thing I want to show over here before we proceed further with the rest of the thing. You can see some drop downs over here, correct? In the header column, I would say, where you have first name and rest of the stuff. Can anybody tell me how do you create these drop downs? Any idea to anyone? The moment you import your data using that get data option in the data tab, these drop downs, or you can say these filtering options are already created. Okay. Now, if you see this one, this was the data set that I imported using open option from the file in MS Excel. So you can see there is no filtering that has been created, right? That's why I said that another option is best to download your data. So if you go it that way, if you want to create filters over here, again, you can go to the same option, sort and filter. You can click on filters and you will see the filters created over here as well. So if you want to search for something specific, let us say in the entire data, I want to search how many female students are there, and I also want to search how many male students are there. So filters are useful for us in working in that manner. Okay. Now coming back to our data over here. So when you click on few values, let us just try to sort these values. Now here, if you will see, this is from the data tab option that I imported the data from. Now you can see, I just selected few values. I went to sort and filter option, just filtered it out using A to Z order. And here, all the values have been aligned accordingly. So our first task is done, which is sorting of the data, right? First data analytics step I have completed, which is sorting of the data after exporting your data. I hope it is clear till here. Okay, I can see many messages coming. Can we use Python and Tableau for an analysis for the project? Absolutely, you can. If Satakshi, if you have a good hold on these tools and you wish to use, you can. It's not mandatory that you will go ahead with Excel only. You can. Okay. Now, few more things that we will be practicing. So coming to this thing where we have all our scores of different subjects. Now, when anyone wants to have an insight from the data where we have different kind of scores from the students, maybe I give you the task that from this entire data set, you need to look for few things. Few things as in, you need to give me the names of all students who have scored more than 90 in all the subjects. This is one scenario. Assume I have given it to you. Then I also want you to give me the names of those students. Let us say I'm a chemistry teacher and I want all those students data say all those students information wherein students are securing more than 90 marks in chemistry, right? So I'm only going to go ahead with chemistry. I don't want to go for other options, I mean other subjects. So keeping the scenarios in mind and keeping the kind of information you want to extract from that data, we need to follow these tasks. Now, second thing that we want to focus upon is, first of all, for cleaning this data, right now I have just sorted the data. I have not started cleaning the data, imported and sorted. That's it. For cleaning the data, I need to check whether there are any kind of values which are not suitable for my data. For example, if I want to check if there are any blank cells where the values are missing, that we need to have a look at. Now, how to do it? Okay. So for doing that, I'll just show you one sample, how to do it. So I'll go to this next column after geography score. And over here, I want to check if in math score column, which is column K, do I have any missing values in any blank spaces, right? So how will I get to do that is, I will write, there is a formula that we will write is equal to count blank, and whichever column you want to check it with, you can mention those column rows, or I would say the range of that column over here. Okay. So now you can see the first value starting from second row itself. So what I am going to write, I'm going to write K2 colon, as it is starting from 2. So last value will be going towards 2001, as there is a total of 2000 rows that we have. Now, if you see over here, the result is 0. That means there are no blank cell values over here in the maths code. Now, I will intentionally make certain values and blank as blank, and we will see if there is any change. Okay, let me just remove few values. Can you see now? The answer has changed. It is showing 3. So with this formula, which is equals to count blank, and you just need to mention the column range for which you are looking at the result, it is going to show you if you have any blank values. right? Now, how is it going to help us in analyzing your data or maybe working upon your data? Obviously, these blank values, it can be an error. And if you have the values along with you and you want to write those values, I mean, you want to input that value, you can do it that as well, right? For now, I'll just highlight those values so that I can skip. So for highlighting, I'll tell you in a while how to highlight any particular thing. Now, I want to check how many numerical values do I have in one particular column? Like I said, I need to clean the data. So I also need to check if there are any values other than the numerical score in the score column, because obviously I will not be needing any other value than the numeric value. So I'll just make certain changes. I'll write missing, and then I'll show you how it works. And here I write 70. Okay. Now we'll go to another column. I'm going to add another formula. So for counting the numerical values over here, what I'll write is equal to count. Now I'm going to check for the physics column, which is M. So I'll go and mention the same range like I mentioned for maths one, but obviously the column name has changed. So I'm changing the name of the column. Now, can you see how many total numeric values it is going to show you? 1998, because out of all these 2000 values, there are two values that I have written in text rather than numbers, right? So two things I have done so far in cleaning my data. First, I looked for blank values in certain particular columns. Second, I looked for numeric values because I only need numeric values to process my data further. Okay, two things. Now, third thing that you can use, because this is a data related to scores, so generally you will not find any negative values. But you might be having data where you need to look for numeric value, negative values too, right? So how to remove those values? Now, in another column, I'll just intentionally add few negative values so that I can show you how to count those negative values. Let us say I write minus 23. Over here, I write minus 2. Over here, I write minus 36. Now, how to count those negative values? So you need to count. Okay. Again, the column range you need to mention for which you are looking for those particular value. I have made changes in the chemistry column, so I'm going to mention my range for the chemistry one. Comma. Now, negative values are the values which are less than 0, right? That is the condition that we need to mention over here. So what am I going to write? I'm going to write within double inverted quotes, I'm going to write less than 0, closing the bracket, with. Sorry. Okay. One question to everybody. Any error that you see over here? So we should have the output that we were expected to get were 4, because I can see 4 negative values in the chemistry column. But right now the output that you can see is, I'll just remove it from here, 2000. Okay. Any suggestions from anybody how we can correct it? I hope whatever I'm doing on the screen is clearly visible to everyone. Let me just see a few responses. Okay, there are suggestions coming to me that I need to use COUNTIF. Okay, let me check and see if it works that way. I'm sure if you are telling me it is going to work this way, let me check over here. So you can see over here, now we get the correct output, right? So when you are searching for something with a particular condition as in here, I was looking for the values which are particularly less than 0, I mean negative values. So you have to make use of COUNTIF. In case you are going to use numeric values only. I mean, you are going to look for numeric values only. You can simply use count option. Okay. Then in second case, I told you to go for the missing values, look for the values where you have blank spaces in that data. So we made use of count blank, right? I hope till here there is no doubt to anybody. If not, then we will proceed further. So this way you can search your entire data. I mean, you can go through your entire data and just drop down and the values will be filled accordingly. Okay. Any kind of doubts to anybody? Okay. No. Okay, Anvesh, for your advanced formulas, we will be continuing with your advanced formulas in next session because I feel this is your second master class, but in first master class, you didn't have anything related to the use of formulas and functions. And I could see there are many people who are totally new to all these things. So we will take everybody along and we will make sure that everybody is at the same page before we move on to advanced function and formulas in Python. Okay. So today we'll be covering up from like basic to intermediate sort of stuff, wherein I can tell you a few things that you can do over this data. Okay. Fine. Let us proceed further. So just to summarize quickly, we have sorted the data. We imported the data first, data set. Then we sorted this data set in alphabetical order and rest of the columns have been arranged accordingly. Then third thing that we did in the data that we started with the data was cleaning the data, wherein I showed you certain things like how to count the number of blank values, how to count the number of things, numeric values, and how you can look for some negative values in your data, right? Now, what to do further is if I want to highlight few things over here today, then how I can go about that. Before I proceed with that, let us go back to our presentation and see where are we right now. So this is the thing that I showed you already, where we were understanding how you can import your file. Okay, this is what we have covered up, how to access the tools and how to handle those files. And I also saved it as an Excel file so that you can see that there are many functionalities in which we're missing if I keep it as a CSV file. Then I did the initial profiling. So in this initial data profiling, we have created filters. I told you how to make filters in the headers. Conditional formatting is yet to be done. I haven't done that. I used few profiling formulas like counting blank, COUNTIF, count A for counting the non-empty values and stuff. So this is what we have done so far. Okay. Now we will be going towards working the duplicates. So for the first column over here in cleaning, I told you that if you find missing values and if you have answers to those missing values, you wish to go for it manually, you can do that. Otherwise, if I want to take some sort of, maybe I don't have that data with me, I don't know what is going to go in the missing value. So what I can do is I can fill up that value by calculating the average of that entire column, or maybe by calculating the median of that entire column, right? So this way I can fill that also. I'll show you how to do that. First, we'll be focusing upon two things: remove duplicates and renaming the column. So let us go back to our Excel sheet and let us see how we can do that. Okay. So when you go to this data set again, if I want to rename any headers, it is quite simple. You simply go to that header and you can just rename. Like for example, here in case of email, I want to properly write email address. So you can just simply click on it and you can change it. As simple as that. Nothing much to be done over here. Okay. Now coming to duplicate values. So when you need to highlight that, how to do it, let me take another data set. It is the same data set, but here I made certain values duplicate by default so that I can show you how to look for duplicates over here. So you can look for this entire data sheet. Or now again, finding duplicate can happen two ways. One is you are looking for duplicate in the entire data sheet. Another way is you are looking for duplicate values in certain particular columns. For example, there can be people with same name, right? And same surname as well. But you also need to see at the same time that Their email addresses are also same or not, just to distinguish whether same data has been repeated twice or twice for a particular student, correct? So I have selected this entire thing over here. And in your home tab, you will see this conditional formatting option. Okay. Now, what do we mean by conditional formatting? Where you are formatting your sheet based on certain conditions. Now, those conditions need to be set by you. So, first thing that I'll be focusing upon in conditional formatting, you go to highlight cell rules. In highlight cell rules, you will see options like you want to set up something greater than, less than. Towards the last, there is an option of duplicate values. Now, once I click on that, duplicate values, it is going to ask you that how do you want to highlight it? So let us say I highlight it with yellow, for example, and apply it. Now, can you see all these values have been highlighted because they are with the same name? Same way Adam is with the same name. But how will you make sure that this is the exact duplicate value that needs to be removed? So if you see the entire row being highlighted in the color, that is going to be a duplicate value that we are going to look at. Now, if you focus, I'm scrolling through the entire sheet over here, and you can see none of the email addresses have been highlighted anywhere, correct? That means there is no duplicacy. Now, let me do it intentionally, and then I'm going to show you whether it will be highlighted or not. So over here, instead of Wallace, I'll write Edwards. And also not here, let me change it somewhere else because these are just consecutive values back to back. So I just make the change somewhere else. So Excel file is quite huge. As I said, it is 2000 rows. So that's why it is taking some time to respond. Let us wait. After this highlighting, we will take 5 minutes of break. Okay. Then we'll go ahead with rest of the things that we have to. So I'll once again show you how to highlight. Let me just make some changes over here. Then I'll show you how to highlight over. Now here in the email ID, I'm going to copy this same ID. Okay. Name is already same. Adam Edwards, Adam Edwards. I have mentioned the email ID as same as well. Now I am selecting the entire sheet one more time. Go to conditional formatting. Same highlight cell rules, duplicate values. You select the color and then press OK. Now, can you see the values that have been here all have been highlighted in the same color? So if you see entry number 11, as per the numbers that have been mentioned, serial number, I mean, and if you see entry number 13, both have been highlighted. So this way, because many a time it happens when you download data from any of the trusted sources, there are chances that there are duplicate values in that data. And for cleaning, it is mandatory that you clean or highlight all those duplicate values so that you can decide what do you need to do with those duplicate values. Okay. Understood? So this is how we have found out the duplicate values over here. Okay. Students, any doubt to anybody till here? Okay, there are few things that have been mentioned, like somebody has mentioned last values have not been arranged. Yes, because I didn't select the entire data set. I just wanted to show you the above one because you are able to visualize those. That is why. So once you select the entire data set and go for sorting, it will be sorted in that way. Okay. Okay, so let's take 5 minutes of break. And after 5 minutes, we'll continue. Okay, please do not leave the session. Just a break to relax your eyes for the moment. And then we'll come back and continue the session. Okay, I hope everybody is back. Let us go ahead. Let me just share the screen one more time and then we go ahead. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Great. Now, the last thing before we went on for the break, I told you was how to highlight the duplicate values by making use of conditional formatting. Okay, now another thing. The purpose is to remove the duplicate values because obviously I don't need those duplicate values to make my data more redundant. So how am I going to remove those duplicate values? Now you are going to select the values, I mean the row values that you have from which you are going to remove the duplicates. As of now, you can see it's in the very beginning. So I'll just select some selected sort of data from here. Okay, till wherever I can or I wish to. Then you are again going to go to your data tab that we used earlier for importing our data. Under that data tab, you have this option of data tools. You have this section of data tools, like the first section that you see over here is get and transform data, then queries and connections, sort and filter. So under those data tools, you will find few symbols over here, right? So other than text to column, the last option that you see over here is data validation. Then the second last thing that you see over here is remove duplicates, right? So I'll click on remove duplicates. Now it is asking you which columns do you wish to remove the duplicates from. So obviously, as it is a long sheet which has many components in it, so it is going to remove all the values related to that particular duplicate value. Okay, so if you want to make selection of all the columns, you can. It is already highlighting all the column that I have selected in my sheet. Okay, if your data has headers, if we have also selected headers, I mean the titles, you can you can mark over here my data as headers. Right now, my data does not have header because I have not selected the headers. So that is why it is unchecked. I just click on OK. Can you see? It says one duplicate value found and removed, 22 unique values remain. So this way, you can remove all the duplicate values that you have in your data, and it is going to clean your data to a good extent. Okay, because then you will be only having specific values, specific data set components to work upon. Understood? Or shall I remove the duplicate removal part? Shall I repeat or is it good to go? So I'll go as per your pace. I'm trying my best to go as per your pace because I know that there are many of you who have not worked upon all these things earlier. So I'm trying to go as slow as possible so that you can understand in a better way. Okay. So I could see a few messages of repetition. Let me just repeat it one more time. So what I said was that once you highlighted your duplicate values, now it is time to remove those values, right? So you are going to select some particular data. If I want the data, I mean the duplicacy to be removed from the entire sheet, you can make use of all the values and you can select all those values. And you are going to go to the data tab. Under that data tab, you have this section called data tools that will help you to work on the data that you have, right? Now here, this second symbol with a cross that you see is for removing the duplicates. So once you click over here, then you can press OK. Now here it says no duplicate values found because I already deleted the duplicate value. Earlier, when you saw the output, it was showing one duplicate value has been removed. Correct? Right now, there is no duplicate value. That is why it is showing no duplicate value. So this way, you need to remove the duplicates. Now coming to the task that I was telling you in the beginning. Now I want from this entire sheet, I need to highlight certain things for getting better insights from this data set. So first thing that I'm going to work upon is I need to figure out how many students are there. I'll start from math. How many students are there in mathematics who have scored more than 90, for example? Okay. One simple way of doing it, you select this particular column from which you need to make the highlights. I'll go back to the home section one more time. I'll go to conditional formatting. highlight cell rules. This time, I'm not going to use duplicate because I'm not going to highlight any duplicate values. What I said as a condition is I want to check for values. I want to check for students where student have scored more than 90, correct? So I am going to click greater than over here. It says greater than what value? So I'm picking 90. And wherever you want to fill these values with whatever color of your choice, you can have it. Like I'm looking for red border or maybe with a light red fill. And I'm going to press OK. Now you can see all the values. If you go through the entire data set, all the values where the scores are more than 90, these have been highlighted. But my task is still not resolved. Why? Because when I'll go to the beginning of my sheet, I will not be able to see which student has scored more than 90 because you can see in my sheet, none of the student names have been highlighted, correct? Only the scores have been highlighted. So even if I want to see which student has scored, I have to go to that. Then I'll come in the beginning and match for which student it is being highlighted. It can be a time taking process when you have a large data set to take care of. So how you can eliminate this issue, how you can deal with this issue efficiently and effectively, what we can do. I will again go for conditional formatting, but with a new set of rule. Okay. Now let us see what new set of rule we can use and whether it works or not. So here my maths column is L. Okay. So I'm going to select this entire sheet one more time. I'll just skip this header column because I don't want it as of now. So I just skipped it. The rest of the sheet has been selected. Now again, you go to conditional formatting. Here, I'm going to select new rule this time. Now, when you select a new rule type, basically what am I doing in simple terms is I am creating a new rule for my conditional formatting. Okay. So which option will you select from? So there are options, select a rule type like format all cells based on their values, format only cells that contain something. I'm going to go for the last option where it says use a formula to determine which cells to format. Okay. Now my formula that I'm going to write over here is equals to ampersand, what was the column? L, right, for maths. So let me write L2 greater than 90. So I'm focusing upon one particular column, which is for mathematics. Now, like when we do conditional formatting, we highlight it in some color. So same way, I'm going to make use of this format option. I want to choose that which formatting do I want to have. Like I want to have something in the form of strike through, or I want to have some sort of border. I'll go for fill because it is easy to locate that fill option. Okay, it become too dark. So I'll select something else. Let me pick this one or let red will fit fine. Now here I'll press OK. From here also I'll press OK. Let us see if it works for us. Now, can you see the entire values relating? Now, let us cross check with math scores. So here you can see it has 100, it has 96, 93, 91, 97. All the scores which have been more than 90 have been highlighted along with student names. Now it becomes easy for you to cross check which student have scored these many marks in mathematics, right? Now you don't need to move to and fro. First you go to marks, then you see which student has done what, and then you see the student name. So it will be highlighted all together. Entire information, not only the name and marks, even rest of the columns will also be highlighted. Okay. Any doubt till here? Understood? Or shall I repeat? Okay. I already got messages of repetition. Understood? Okay. The rest of the students, I can see some repetitive names who are responding. I would appreciate if all of you can respond and let me know if you are able to understand or not. If not, I'll repeat that for you, not an issue. Okay. But the purpose is you must be able to understand what we are trying to convey. Okay. So many options coming and understood, few options coming as repeat. So I'll repeat for those who have not understood. So what I did was I selected this entire sheet. Let me just remove what have I done. I'll just go to conditional formatting and click on clear rules. For now, let me just clear all the rules. Now, one more thing. For clearing all the rules, like right now, you can see I have done a lot of things in this sheet, like highlighting, then filtering out, then highlighting the duplicate values. So if you want to clear rules from the entire sheet, you go to this option of clear rules and just click on clear rules from the entire sheet. Now, right now, you can see nothing has been selected. Okay. So let me just repeat quickly how to look for something specific. So I selected this entire sheet. Just remove this first column wherein rest of the sheet is selected. I'll go to conditional formatting, click on new rule, look for the last option, use a formula to determine which cells to format because I'm creating a new formula. Over here, I wrote my formula. Ampersand sign is for some specific thing to focus upon. Okay. So we are basically referencing it by the address of that column, or you can say the placement of that particular column. Now, instead of L2, I just do M, the next column, and I'm looking for people who have scored marks, say less than greater than 95 instead of 90. I'm going to go for the format option, highlight it with yellow, and just press OK. Now you can see, look for the next column, which is history. So here you see one value is there, which has been highlighted because he has scored more than 95 in history. Same way, if you keep scrolling down, you will see all these values which have been highlighted. I hope it is clear now. Now, another question that I gave to you during the session was, right now, I have only specified students who have selected, who have scored more than 90 or 95 marks in one particular subject. What if I want to find the class toppers, let us say first 10 toppers of the class, wherein I want to see their scores in all the mentioned subjects, and I want these people who have scored more than 95. Okay, for all the subjects, not only for one particular subject. Any response? How can we do that? Based on the same kind of formula that I applied just now. Aniket, this is my question. How to take multiple columns at the same time? This is the same question that I asked. Sachin, yes, you can definitely select multiple coloring for recognizing different subject marks. So you can highlight the marks as per your choice of colors. You can. I hope my question is clear to everybody. Now we have to look for students wherein the students must have scored marks greater than 90 in all the subjects. So if we look at our sheet, starting from column number L, like we have L, M, N, O, P, Q, and R. Till R, we have all the subject marks over here, right? And I want to highlight all those students. Now, how to do that? Let me just clear this conditional formatting, and then we will go ahead with that set of rules. Few changes that we'll be making in the formula that I already used. Okay, let me just show you. I'll do it for you with 3 subjects. Then it is a small task for you. You are going to give me the formula for all the subjects. Okay, starting from column number L to column number Q or R, whatever is the last one. So once again, same thing, condition formatting, new rule, last option. Now here, how will you write the formula? This particular query is going to run through all the subject column, or like I said, through first 3, because I'm showing you for the first 3. So L, M, and N, right? And it is going to be in conjunction with all the 3 column. So how am I going to write it? Write it as, I will write and same way like I have written earlier, dollar. We started with L2, right? So L2 greater than 90, comma. What should be the next command over here? After L, we have the next column is M, right? So I'm going to write the same way. M2 greater than 90. Then let us say I go for N2 also greater than 90. Let us see if this works for us or not. So let us go to format option one more time. Let it highlight as yellow. Press OK. we will cross check the output that we are getting is true or not, is correct or not. Okay. Let us check if anything being highlighted. Over here, you can see. So at the top, nothing has been highlighted. That means till here, where we have our first highlighted value, none of the students were there who have scored more than 90 marks in first three subjects. Now let us check for Andrew Smith, whether it is true or not. Okay. Now can you see what is happening wrong? Here, he has scored 85, 74, 68. I hope this is the correct score. Yes, maths, history, and physics. Still, these values are highlighted. Any mistake that you see? Or can you tell me on what basis it is doing this segregation? I mean, it is doing this highlighting part. In one of the subjects, you will find that there are marks greater than 90. For example, if I talk about this particular entry, it has 93. In this particular entry, one of the subjects has 99. In this particular entry also, two subjects have 97 and 93, but not the third one. Third one is not having above 90 marks, right? Then what could go wrong? What modification do I need to make over here? Let us do some brainstorming. Okay, use max and these two. Yes, Aditya, for finding maximum of all the columns, let us say for 5 column, again, the challenge is you will be able to highlight, you will be able to find the max, but you also need to make sure that all the values corresponding to that maximum score are highlighted in your sheet, right? Because this is a huge amount of data that we are working upon. So that is what we need to take care of. Okay, anybody who could tell me? I'll give you some time to work upon it, and then I'll come back to you, giving you the solution for the same. Okay. Till then, we'll go for some queries. Okay. Can you repeat? What do I need to repeat, Mahima, if you can tell me? The one with all the column values or the one with the single column value? Which one do I need to repeat? Multiple one. Okay. For multiple one, as I said, I have made a small error in the query that I have written. Okay, you need to think upon and let me know how can we correct that query. As of now, I'll just clear the rules for all the sheet, for the entire sheet, so that nothing is highlighted. Okay. So I told you that our purpose is that our task is from all the subject marks that we have over here, starting from L to R, we need to look for students who have scored more than 90 for all in all the subjects. Okay, this is what we want to highlight. Now, we need to write a query for the same. We need to write a rule for the same to highlight that like we did for one single column. So what I did was, okay, I selected this entire sheet, went to conditional formatting, new rule, last option. Then I have written my rule. So I started with and because it is going to look for all the columns all together and started writing the way I'm trying to sort it out. Okay. So first value started with L. I have written greater than 90. Then your second value again starts with M. Again, I have written greater than 90. Then let me just write the complete query and we will see if it still gives us the error or not. Again, I have written less than 90 and then row 2 greater than 90. You can copy paste also. I'll just write to show you. So it was still R Q2 greater than 90. Then two greater than 90. So I've written all the particular column values, right? And I'm looking for all the values greater than 90. Let us see if it works well or still, does it still show any kind of error? Hmm. Let us check if any values are highlighted. Okay. I could figure out one over here for Mary. Let us check if it is going to give us the good results or not. Now, right now, it has given me the correct output. So you can check for Mary's scores. All the columns that you see for the scores, she has scored more than 90 in every subject, right? Same way, we can look how many people are there. So we can find our class toppers. So in the entire sheet, there is another person. He's the second person who has scored more than 90 in all the subject. Todd. Only 2 out of 2,000 people. So can you see how important and beneficial is it if you do conditional formatting this way, that out of a huge data set, I could figure out my, or maybe these are the school toppers, they are people from different grades, right? Depending on, or this is the data of the entire, I would say, maybe 12th graders or college first year students, for example. So you could see out of this huge data, I could quickly figure out that there are two toppers in my class. Okay, or in the entire grade that I am catering to or I am looking into. Understood? Okay, Aditya has mentioned every column name needs to be mentioned. Yes, you need to figure out the values. Like I took the first values by default, M2, L2, N2, these are the first values. And this is going to apply the condition formatting to the entire sheet because I have selected the entire sheet. Function of dollar sign over here, Mahi, function of dollar sign is, it is pertaining or it is focusing upon that one particular column that you have mentioned. Pass by reference, we call it pass by reference, wherein depending upon the availability of that particular column and the values inside those column, it is going to focus upon that particular thing. Okay. Understood till here, students? Now, what we are going to do, we are going to go back to the presentation and see where we are and what we are left with. So this, I have already told you how to handle the missing values, how you can remove the duplicates, and how you can rename the column. Renaming the columns was quite easy. Nothing much in that we did. Okay, it was simply that we have mentioned the columns and we have changed that. Now, this feature engineering part is left over there. Few basic things in feature engineering, like if I want to calculate the sum of all the scores that I have for a particular student so that I calculate the total score out of the, maybe if there are 6 subjects out of 600 or 700 or 500, that we can do. That is very simple. If you want to extract something particular from this sheet, like there is one sample query that I have written, that if there are any dates given in a sheet and I want to extract the date from that particular column wherein the dates are mentioned in the sheet, I can simply write is equal to year and the column name, right? So this way I'm going to get the year. Third thing that I have mentioned is encode categorical data. Now, in our data also, it is the case that males and females have been mentioned, right? Now, if I want to use this data, I have cleaned the data, I have done all sort of inputs that I wanted to give to my data. And with my final output, I mean, with the final ready to be processed data, I want to use this data, let us say, for some machine learning algorithm or some machine learning model that I wish to create or any other similar scenario. In that case, because you know that system understand only in binary 1 and 0, and if you want to convert values, because in this data right now you have every sort of value, you have textual values, you have numerical values, right? You have values with special symbols. And if I want to encode that, how you can do that? So you can make use of the similar kind of formula and you can make changes. Okay, let me show you how to do it as well. And then we will go for the next one. So here, what am I going to do in my sheet is, now can you see over here, I have done something called as male and female encoding. Now how I did that. So I have used the same formula. If you can see on my sheet, let me write it one more time for you so that you can check how to do it. So in my sheet, we need to see where do we have this male and female column. Okay. Now, F is our male and female column that we have over here. So what you need to write is equal to if. Now again, you are checking a condition. So I'm starting it with some logical statements, starting with if over here. Now F is your male and female column. So let me write if F2 is equal to male. Okay. Now, when you want to encode it, right now it is going to show you the error because I have not written it correctly. So this needs to be mentioned as a string over here. Now I want that for males, the encoding must be 1 and for females, the encoding must be 0. If you want to keep it vice versa, that is also fine. You can do it in the same way. Now, can you see it has given you the output 1. Now let us go back and check. So here, the first few entries all have genders as male. The ninth entry that we have over here, it has female. So if you look over here in the output, you are going to see the same. First few entries were males, so I've encoded it as 1. Another entry was female, so it automatically got encoded as 0 because this is how I have written my statement over here. I've written my formula over here. So this is one of the features with the use of which you can do some sort of feature engineering. You are trying to simplify your data as much as possible so that it becomes easy for your machine learning model to read that data and process this data accordingly. Okay, so you can create certain rules for yourself like we did when we were highlighting those values. We have created certain rules. You can also encode your data like I did for male and female, right? And this is how you can work. Okay. Okay, let us see what all do we have in store for the day. So this we have done, feature engineering. Generating descriptive stats is one thing that I'm going to quickly show you because these are simple formulas that you need to put, simply put, and they're going to give you the calculation. You don't need to have any kind of special inputs given to it, like creating the new formula or making certain changes. So like if I want to calculate the average or the mean, you can make use of the formula of average. Same way, if I want to calculate the median value, some middle value or the central value pertaining to the entire data values, we can do that. If I want to calculate the standard deviation, because with the help of this value of standard deviation, I can see how much my data has been spread. I'll show you one thing after this, after showing you the descriptive stats, where I'm going to show you how to plot the linear regression model. Okay. Sorting and filtering we have done. I already told you how to sort multiple values, how to go with the filters, right? And then how to go with conditional formatting. This we have talked about. In filters, I'll just show you one more thing and then we'll proceed forward. Okay. Before I proceed with last two segments that remain from today's session, another question, few things that we have discussed so far. Which of the Excel cleaning tasks do you find most challenging? So I've given you 5 options: handling missing values, removing duplicates, standardizing column names. I think that was the easiest one. Then understanding data types, and I find all of them manageable. Okay, would like to have some inputs from the students, then we'll move forward. Okay. I am very happy to see that majority of the people are writing it 5. That means at least I am able to percolate 90% of the things that I have planned for the session for you. And you are able to cater to all these things. So I'm very happy to see that many of you are writing 5 in the chat. Great. So you all will be great data analytics, I'm sure, with few more things that we have in hand. We'll go with that. And I'm sure that you are at least ready with basics and more than basics of data analysis after today's session. Okay. Now coming to the next part, what is linear regression? Like I told you, we will be plotting linear regression and we will see how you can plot regression curves. Okay. For today, I'll be focusing upon linear regression. Now, first, let us understand in very simple way, what do we mean by linear regression? So when I say linear regression, that's a kind of statistical method wherein we are trying to establish a relationship between a dependent and an independent variable. Now, what does it mean? This means that based on the number of hours, I'm taking one scenario, based on the number of hours, we usually say that the people who study more, they are having larger chances of getting good marks. Correct? They are having more chances of getting good marks. So, what is the independent variable in this particular situation? Number of hours for which you are studying. Now, what is the dependent variable? The scores that you are getting in your examination. So when I talk about score, obviously it is not only one subject wherein the score is being calculated. There are more than one subjects, right? So the way we are trying to establish that relationship between between an independent and dependent variables with the help of a curve, that is called as regression. For today, we will be focusing upon linear regression. Now, as the name says linear, that means in a line, right? That is why we called it linear regression. Now, those who must have had mathematics at school level, they must have studied about this equation which says y equals to mx plus b. Now, what does this equation mean? This equation is the equation for plotting your linear regression curve. This is your equation for linear regression, wherein what are the meaning of these symbols? Let us try to understand. So X over here is your independent variable. In our case, the example that I took, the number of study hours. Y over here is the dependent variable because obviously the value of Y will depend on the value of X, keeping this equation in mind. So it's a dependent variable. Third is M, which is small m written over here. It's a slope. Slope basically shows you that when you make changes in X, how much change is going to be in the dependent variable. Okay, so that is slope. And B that I have written over here is y-intercept. Y-intercept means that when you put X equals to 0, what will be the value of Y? I mean, what will be the value of dependent variable? Now, you need to understand whenever you study something or whenever you learn something, it is always suggested. I, as a trainer, always suggest that you must understand the logic behind it. That if I'm telling you about linear regression, why am I telling you about linear regression? What is the use? So, linear regression helps you in forecasting future values. Right now, I have a normal data wherein I just told you how to work with that data. But data analytics also work with a large data wherein they need to predict future values, maybe as per the market trends, or maybe as per certain other factors that will be incorporating into their data, right? So in that case, we need to predict values based on the current data that we have. Also, this is one scenario where we can make use of linear regression. Another use of linear regression, like I said, you understand the value and relationship between the variables. That if you are making change in one particular independent variable, how your dependent variable is going to change. Then if I want to read the trends over time, that, okay, this is how my company's sales must have gone in past few years. This is how it happened. So I can do it with the help of visualization. This is one way of establishing the relationship and visualizing the data at the same time. Okay. So for today, we'll be focusing upon chart method, that how you plot linear regression curve using a chart method. Fine. So first I'll show you this regression thing because I'm sure this is something excited that you will be attracted to. And then I'll show you the statistical descriptions over there, like how to calculate median, average, and rest of the stuff. Okay. So let us go with linear regression first. We'll be going back to our data set. One thing that you need to take care of mandatorily when you are plotting linear regression curve, the columns for which you are plotting your linear regression must be side by side. I mean, they must be in alignment to each other. For example, if I want to plot my linear regression curve for weekly self-study hours, like I said, that usually it is a belief that the people who study more number of hours, they are going to get good marks. Okay. So what am I going to do? I'm going to plot a linear regression curve for weekly self-study hours and history score. So I'll just cut this column from here and paste that just in front of history score column. Let me insert one new column. I just cut it out and paste it over here. Okay. Now the first task is to select the columns for which you want to predict your values, or for which you want to establish that linear regression curve. Okay. So I'm just selecting these two columns for now. I've selected the columns. Now I'll go to insert. Now, when you go to insert, you will see these chart section given to you. For linear regression, we usually plot scatter chart. Okay. So I'll go over here. I'll click on charts, and this one is for scatter, where you see all these dots of different colors, right? I'm going to go for the first option. So the way you keep clicking on the charts, you are going to see what sort of scatter chart will it be. Like first one is a normal scatter chart, wherein you will see all the values marked as points for different students. Herein, the next one, you will see the lines also, like right now you can see. Okay. I'm not using this one because it will be a little difficult to show you. I want to show you the points scattered along so that I can also show you how do you plot the regression curve for that. Okay. Let it just go back. Then I'll show. So with huge Excel files, this can also be a limitation sometimes, that the files sometimes hang because of too many entries in the sheet. Okay. Let us wait for a few minutes. Otherwise, I'll reopen. Let me just reopen the file one more. Okay, I have opened the sheet. There are minor changes, but we'll keep it as it is, not an issue. So here you see weekly self-study hour and maths course in alignment to each other, right? Now I'll select, follow the same process. We'll go to insert. We'll go for a scatter chart, and I'll pick the first one. Now on your screen, because we have too many entries in terms of number of students, so you can see all these plots very nearby to each other, right? It looks like a cluster wherein all the points have been accumulated together. Now, when you want to see, when I was showing you the presentation slide, in which I was explaining you the linear regression, you saw that there was an equation related to linear regression, right? So we will try to figure out what will be the equation for our linear regression values that we have over here. Okay. Now, how am I going to do it? You click on any of the points that have been mentioned over here, right? Now, when you right click on any of these points, it is going to give you some options, like you want to delete the series, you want to add some labels. I am going to click on add trend line. Now here, if I show you, you can see in trend line, what are the options you want to have? Linear regression you want to plot exponential, you want to plot polynomial. I am going to go for linear because I want to show you how it is being plotted over here. Then I also want my equation, the linear regression equation on the screen. And there is a value which is called R squared value. I'm going to tell you what is it all about. Let's just pick it up for you as of now. Now here you can see, this is my equation. Let me just increase the size a little bit. Okay, this is my equation. Y equals to mx plus p. Value of slope has been given. Y and x are the corresponding value that you can change and see what are the variations that you are getting. Now, first we need to understand what is X and what is Y over here. X values, the values on the X axis, I mean the horizontal vertical that use horizontal plane area there you see, these are the number of study hours, weekly study hours. Okay. And the values on the Y axis are your scores in maths because I have taken that maths column. So this is going to give you the equation for linear regression curve. Second thing that you see, which is the R square value, what does it indicate? It indicates the variation in your dependent value as compared to the independent value. What I mean is that when you change the value of X, how much variation or how much change is going to be in your Y value. Now, how do you predict that this is a good value or a bad value or a weak value? Usually, the values are between 0 to 1, 1 being the optimum. If this R square value comes out to be 1, that means our prediction, our variation that has been showcased is absolutely fine. Okay. And if it is coming out to be 0, then we need to work on it. Or if it is coming below 0, then also it is a weak deviation. Now, this depends on many factors. Right now, you have a huge data, right? And this is the random data that we have taken. So we can figure out, like, if I see my value as 0.15, I feel this is a weak deviation value or a weak variation value. I need to work on that. So I can make changes in certain columns of mine. I can see after getting the changes, is my variation value increasing or not increasing? I can also check this with other subjects like history, physics, and see if the variation value is changing or not changing. So this way we can work and check. For today, I just stick to basics. I'm not telling you how to go deep into it so that it doesn't go above your head. It doesn't go bonkers. Okay. So we'll just be sticking over here. Now, quickly, let me show you how to calculate rest of the things like mean, median, and rest of the stuff. Simple. So these are the columns that I'm going ahead with. Let us say I want to calculate the average of this one. So you simply write is equal to average. You just select the column range for which you need to have the average, right? Now here it is asking you K colon K, which column you want it from. So I want it from K2 to, let us say, K2001, the entire column that I have. You will get the average. Same way, if I calculate the median, you are going to write in the same way, median, then select the range, mark your entries, and we are going to get these values as well. Okay. Similar method, you want to calculate the standard deviation, for example. So here you have the formula STD EV dot S. So let me just write it. Again, you need to provide the range of the column. Now, it's not mandatory that you want to calculate the standard deviation for all the values. It can be for some selective values as well. So you simply need to give that particular range in which these values are expected to be created. Okay. This is simple, quite simple. You just need to apply the formula directly. That's it. Rest of the work is going to be taken care by MS Excel itself. Okay. So with this, we have pretty much covered what we had in store for today's session. Now, before we wind up the session, I have one more question for all of you. Let us just go to that. Okay, so this I just explained you a few seconds ago. What does the R squared value in linear regression represent? So few options given: slope of the regression line, number of rows used in the model, percentage of variation, and the total number of columns in the data set. I would like quick responses from you. Let me see how many of you are able to understand. If you can quickly give your responses. Okay, I can see third option coming to me as response from majority of the people, and which is absolutely right. Percentage of variation explained by the model is what R squared value is going to give you. Okay. Any doubt from anybody in today's session? Anything you people have not understood, where you feel that this is something tricky or difficult for you and you need to revisit that? Anyway, we will be sharing all the necessary things with you, right? Tanuja will be in a better position to tell you about that. And you can go ahead with that. You can just go for self-paced reading and understand what all did we cover. Because most of the session today was in fact, entire session today was hands-on. So we worked with data, how to clean the data, how to organize the data, how to process the data further, how to encode the data. So it is always suggested that you start with the clean data, right? Garbage in, garbage out. You have to follow GIGO policy. So if there is garbage, you need to take that out. Then you practice with diverse data set. That the data set that we took today was a diverse data set. As I mentioned, there were different kind of values in that data set, different data types, like there was string, there were numeric values, there were Boolean values also in terms of true and false, right? Then interpret, don't just compute. So you need to have your interpretations from the data. Don't just do the calculations, have some meaningful insights from the data. And there is an interesting task for all of you as well. Let me just show you. Then you need to document your process. So if you have taken certain steps, like I took certain steps in cleaning and processing that data, do document that and then validate the results, right? Okay. Here are certain project ideas and Q&A section for you if you have any sort of question related to today's session. Project ideas, I have given you 3 scenarios. One we have worked with today, but this one is a little different. As a task, as an extension activity, what you are going to do before our next session, you can pick up any data of your choice from Kaggle or any other resource that I mentioned. I have proposed few suggested projects like student performance analysis. You have to predict final grades based on attendance, assignment scores, and participation. You can also use some data related to sales, wherein you have to forecast the sales. You can predict a graph like I did, predict a chart and show that. Or you can also go for the data of COVID-19 trend analysis. It's not compulsory, again, that you are going to go ahead with this data only. You can find any data of your choice. The purpose is you revisit all the concepts, all the tools, methodologies that we discussed in today's session. Okay, that is the whole purpose of giving you an extension activity. That's it. Okay, I hope Tanuja has shared the attendance form. I can see it in the chat. So those who have not marked their attendance, I feel all of you must have not marked initially. So please mark your attendance before leaving the session. And there are few queries that I can see, like I can use Python for data analysis, not doing it. That's absolutely fine. I could have also done it using Python, but I knew that there are many beginners in the session. That's why I preferred the standard tool of doing data analysis, which was Excel. Okay.
Good job. Good job.
So I hope everybody has received the link to the attendance form. Kindly please fill the attendance form before you log out. And Anjali, is there something else that you want to share, or we can just close it?
We can. Just wanted to thank you, all of you. And I know you have been patient enough that you remained throughout the session. And I can see you actively participating in the session. And there could not be anything great for a trainer to see an active and responsive audience. So I'm grateful for all of you for taking out the time and attending the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anjali. And I hope all of you had a great session. And I could see most of you were very active throughout the session and interactive. So the attendance form has been shared. Please make sure that you fill the attendance form by 10 p.m. today, because we will be closing the form and we would not be entertaining any late queries regarding this. So please fill the attendance form, and I will again make the announcements that I had shared during the session. The LP completion certificate date has been extended to 20th July, 20th July. The message will also be shared in your WhatsApp groups. Of course, the issues that you're facing with the platform, we are aware of that. We will be sorting out these issues in a day or two. Please be patient. And yes, that was about it. keep learning. And I hope you all were able to take notes about the assignment that was given by Anjali. And we'll be sharing the same in the group as well. Please make sure that you read the messages that are being shared in the group. Thank you, everyone. And we'll be closing for today. See you next time. Bye, everyone.